Welcome to our tutorial today. This is our first lesson, and today we'll cover on capacitors. Later we will be able to cover on other various electronic components such as resistors, IC, that is integrated circuits, and we have inductors, etc. But for today, let's discuss about capacitors. My name is Vincent, and you are very much welcome. Please subscribe as we start our lesson so that you don't miss any of our lessons in future. Now, what is a capacitor? A capacitor is an electronic component that is used to store an electrical charge. This electrical charge is stored temporarily. So, a capacitor is an electronic component that is used to do what? To store an electric charge. Now, the capacity of a capacitor to store an electric charge is called capacitance. And a measure of capacitance is measured in farads, named after a British physicist known as Michael Faraday. Now, a capacitor has got both positive and negative side. So the positive side is called anode, and the negative side is called a cathode. Now, if this capacitor stores an electrical charge, and we know an electric charge can either be positive or negative, and we have said the positive charge is stored in the anode and the negative charge is stored in the cathode. So for you to know the positive side of a capacitor, you simply have to look at the pins. Now the longer pin, for example this one, for this electrolytic capacitor, this is the anode, and the shorter one is the cathode. For this ceramic capacitor, this one, now this shorter one is called the cathode, that's the negative side, and the longer one, that's the positive side. Now, a capacitor is denoted using this symbol, and there are other symbols that are used to denote capacitors. For example, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now, as we said earlier, a capacitor has got the positive side and the negative side. Now, for various types of capacitors, for example, this one, this service mount capacitor, it's usually denoted by the negative sign here. Okay, the negative sign here denotes that's the negative side of the capacitor, and the other part that is not denoted, the larger part, is the positive side. That's for the service mount capacitors. We have this kind of capacitor. The lining here is the negative side. That's the minus sign is the negative side, and the other side that is not denoted with any sign is the positive side. That's for this axial capacitor. Now for the radial capacitors, for example the electrolytic capacitors, now this the minus sign, the white minus sign here is the negative side, that's the cathode side, and the black larger part of it that is not denoted anything is the positive side. And if the pin, remember, is the longer pin, that's the positive side. And for this one, this is the minus sign, that's the negative side of the capacitor, that's the cathode. Also for this kind of snap-in capacitor, there is this minus sign here. That minus sign should show you that this leg here now is the negative side of the capacitor, that is the cathode side. Always remember to note these negative or these minus signs on a capacitor for you to be able to place properly capacitors. Now, we said a capacitor has the ability to store an electric charge. Now, the ability to store an electric charge of in a capacitor is called capacitance, and we said capacitor is measured in farads. Now, 1 farad is equal to 1 coulomb stored by 1 volt. Note that capacitance has neither negative nor positive units. It's just farad. Now, since a farad is a large quantity, it is subdivided into submultiples called microfarads, nanofarads, picofarads, etc. Now let's look at the various types of capacitors. Now we have ceramic capacitors. This is an example of a ceramic capacitor. It's also here. This is a ceramic capacitor. This is a ceramic capacitor, and ceramic capacitors. So we have electrolytic capacitors, we have supercapacitors, we have film capacitors, we have glass capacitors, we have paper capacitors, we have tantalum capacitors, we have polycarbonate capacitors. So those are various types of capacitors. So thank you for watching today. Remember to watch us tomorrow for the next lesson on we'll be discussing about resistors in detail. So after that we discuss, I think, inductors, and from there we'll discuss other components, and later on we'll be able now to discuss more about circuits and how to do our own electronic circuits. Thank you. Please remember to subscribe and have a nice time. Thank you.